If you suffer from celiac disease and you go to a restaurant expecting a gluten-free meal and you don't get one, you could be in for some trouble, and I think this is important to highlight. I want to bring into the conversation someone who knows a little something about this, Kira, who owns a gluten-free bakery, because, Kira, this obviously is a little disturbing, especially for people out there who have celiac disease, because they really need to know. If it says gluten-free, it needs to be gluten-free.
Yes, absolutely. And the biggest way we do that is by keeping a completely gluten-free facility so that there's no chance of cross-contamination. And people ask me all the time, what are good ways, if you're gluten sensitive, to dine out at regular restaurants? And I always tell them, call the restaurant ahead of time, and you can even let them know that you have a severe gluten allergy and that it's not just a preference. And that's something that I always advise restaurants to ask. Service staff, when someone says, oh, I need the gluten-free menu, is this an allergy or a preference, so that the kitchen can take it more seriously? Because it drives me nuts when people say, I'm gluten-free, oh, but the beer is okay, and the breadcrumbs on top of that are okay, and the Brussels sprouts from the common fryer, that's fine, because that's what I want to eat.
To her point, we called all of these restaurants, and we were looking right at their gluten-free menus online, and we would ask the people on the phone, are these items gluten-free? Some of the people told us everything on the menu is gluten-free. So I feel like it's a gamble. It's really up to the restaurants to police themselves. The FDA is not coming in and checking to make sure this food is gluten-free. Local health inspectors aren't doing that either. So it's up to the restaurant to do their due diligence, and things can fall through the cracks.
And I think if there's a silver lining in this, it's the reality is a lot of people who are eating gluten-free don't necessarily need to be eating gluten-free. If you feel like you may have gluten sensitivity, celiac disease, you need to get the diagnosis, figure out what is going on with you so that you can take that next step, so that you do your own research, you do your own due diligence, know that where you're eating is gonna be safe for you. Now, if there's a blessing in this, it is probably, if you go to your favorite restaurant and you have celiac disease or gluten sensitivity and you always feel bad, it's probably not the place for you, you know, at the end of the day. But the other thing is, gluten is also in a lot of other products that people don't know about, toothpastes, for instance. So it really is, you have to do your own investigating.
I think salad dressing is a big one, and then thickenings in soups, like many of them.
The roux in soup is something to really look out for, because it's made of butter and a flour base, and it's used as a lot of base in soups, and that absolutely has gluten in it. So it is hiding in a lot of places. And I think that, like, to your point, that people think that gluten-free is healthier. I have friends out there that they'll buy gluten-free frozen waffles at the store because they think it's better for them, or gluten-free pizza, but they're trying to lose weight. It doesn't make sense to me, because it isn't better for you if you aren't celiac.
And I think also important to point out, please don't self-diagnose. I mean, even if you don't feel well, because avoiding gluten and some of the wheat, the barley, the rye that you need, if you don't actually need to, can lead to nutritional deficiencies as well.
Absolutely.